Hey guys, it's Brooke from Grieving Mommy. So I promised you a Q&A video and you guys sent in a ton of awesome questions. I wanted to get that out to you. I am coming to you from my bed today. I actually had to leave work today because I was super sick to my stomach. I think I have some sort of stomach bug.
My stomach hurts.
Yeah, it's been really fun. So we'll see if I can get through this. I apologize ahead of time if I'm not like super animated, but that's why. I'll do my best. Power through, right? Yeah, so here we go. I'm just gonna read through the questions that you guys sent in and give you my honest, raw answers. So the first one, does talking about Libby make you upset or cause you more stress and grief, or does it bring you to a place of calm and hope? It can be a little bit of both, I would say, but mostly I enjoy talking about Libby. Obviously when I talk about her sometimes it brings up difficult feelings and it makes me sad, but I don't mind that so much because I know that that's healthy and that doing it is good for me and it's good for my grieving process. So I actually really enjoy talking about her. Sometimes if I've been like if I feel like I've been bottling things up for a while, and I'm not feeling right, I'll just talk about her with someone just to get it out there. And then a lot of times I'll end up, crying, but it's almost like a release. It almost makes me feel better and makes me more calm afterwards. So yes, and I love hearing about her. Absolutely love hearing about her. So any Libby stories that are out there, yeah, I can't wait to hear all of them. So, all right, the next one, I got a couple of these. Have you and your ex become closer during this time? It's funny because I feel like people, it's like a teenage romance where people are like, are you gonna get back together? But no, we are not getting back together. I love David very much. We were together for 23 years before we got divorced. He was my high school sweetheart. We knew each other since middle school. So there's that comfort of having someone who knows what you're thinking without having to tell them. But there's history in our relationship that is not so good, that's kind of hard to overcome. So no, but he's definitely, I would say, my best friend, and without David I don't think I could be getting through this nearly as well as I am, or coping. Not that I'm getting through it, but I don't think I could be coping as well as I am. So yes, to answer the question, we definitely have become closer because we are the only two people that understand what the other one's going through. And he was there for me and worried about me, and I was worried about him. He was on the phone with the kids when they got in the accident and was really traumatized by that. And, I was worried about his mental health and he was worried about me. And it's just nice to have someone, to talk to that understands how you're feeling. We had always been pretty close, like even after we got divorced, we still had a pretty close relationship. And it was mostly because, I think I've mentioned this before, my parents were divorced when I was young, and it was a horrible, long, drawn out, nasty divorce. And my mom wouldn't talk to my dad for the rest of their lives. So she missed all of the big events, like in our lives and in our kids' lives. She wouldn't be anywhere where my dad and stepmom were. And David's parents were also divorced and they got along much better, but it was one of those things where we both sort of agreed that if anything happened with us, we would never do what my parents did. And I vowed that I would not be that way. So we worked really hard, and I think did a very good job of just staying mature and, being adult about things and just sort of forming this really productive, good co-parenting relationship. It definitely got strained during my second marriage, because my husband didn't appreciate the closeness of our co-parenting relationship. So it was a little bit strained during that time, but then once Libby died, yeah, that was it. Like, as you know, my second marriage ended not long after Libby died. And I don't want to say anything bad about my second husband, but he was unable to support me in the way that I needed to be supported, and I very rapidly made the decision that I could not heal and also deal with the relationship drama that I had going on, that had been going on for a very, very long time at that point. And since I didn't have his support, I needed David there, or else I wouldn't, neither of us, I don't think, would have made it through without having that other person to cry with. All right, the next one. A couple different questions that I kind of rolled into one here, but people want to know how my boys are doing. And that's so nice of you guys to ask. So Max, the older one who was driving the car when Libby died, he's doing very well. I mean, way better, I think, than most people would expect, which is awesome. I think a big part of that, a couple different things, he doesn't remember anything about the accident. He still has no memory of it. He got the rest of his memories back, but he still does not remember anything about the accident, which is good. And the other thing was, they immediately hooked us up with a fantastic trauma counselor that he went to, and he had a really good relationship with her, and I think that helped. And I think the other thing that helped him so much was that everyone, you know, I was going to say David and I, but it was really everyone, just sort of hit him with the fact that no one blamed him, that it was an accident. It could have happened to anyone, like literally could have happened. That intersection is notorious for being a terrible intersection. It's really hard to see what's coming. His car was not working correctly. That's why he had called his dad on the phone when the accident happened, and he was worried about his car. You know, he was distracted. And I told him this, and I'll say it to you guys, like, I have absolutely no reservations about putting Libby in the car with Max. He was an insanely careful driver, like better than, you know, drivers twice his age. He was, you know, the kid who always had his fuel tank filled and always had his oil changed and always, you know, made sure everything was running okay. And he drove like a grandma, like he drove the speed limit. He was, and still is, a very, very good, safe driver. If Libby were alive today, I still wouldn't hesitate to put her in the car with Max. It sucks, but it was an accident. And I think we've all done a very good job of letting him know that we all feel that way. So I think that that's helped him healing a lot. Obviously, there's still always going to be like emotional scars there. I don't think that will ever go away, but he's doing remarkably well. So I'm trying to get him, he actually agreed to do an interview with me for the channel, so stay tuned for that. We'll see if he doesn't like being on camera, but we'll see if he wants to do it then. I'm not going to push him. My other son, Grayson, my 17-year-old, he is totally different. They are complete opposites. So Grayson, I have no idea, honestly. He did go to counseling. He went to several different counselors because he couldn't find anyone that he really liked and connected with. And therapy just doesn't seem to work for him. I think he says what he thinks people want to hear and then says that it's not working. So yeah, he's also always been one of those kids that kind of pushes his emotions down to his toes and blocks it out and doesn't, you know, talk about things. So he doesn't talk about Libby very often. So I'm not as sure how he is doing, honestly, which is sad to say, but he doesn't confide in me that much. So maybe I can get him to do an interview and say how he's doing, but I don't know. So yes, someone else asked, did either of them go to counseling? They both, our whole family went to counseling. Okay, so the next ones are kind of personal, so these are kind of fun. Let's see, what kind of things do you enjoy doing, like hobbies and that kind of stuff wise? So honestly, I haven't had a ton of time. Like up until Libby died, I was so freaking busy all the time that I didn't really have a ton of time to do lots of extra stuff. I've always really enjoyed writing, so I love doing that now. I love this stuff. I love the, making the videos and writing scripts and writing the blogs, and I'm in the middle of writing a book, and I absolutely love it. If I could do this for the rest of my life, that would be chef's kiss. Fantastic. Because I really, really enjoy it. I also really like reading. I'm an English teacher, so obviously reading's kind of my jam. But the problem is I don't actually read as often as probably most people think, because I have a serious problem being able to put books down, and I'm like a binge reader. So if I start something, I have to finish it, and then I'm just tired and it drives me crazy. So let's see. What else do I enjoy? Hobbies? I don't know if looking at houses count. I have always been obsessed with houses. I have wanted to flip houses forever. I want to be Joanna Gaines. In my next life, I'm going to come back as Joanna Gaines. No, David and I had always talked about flipping houses, and we never had the money to do it, so we never did it. But I have always loved looking at houses that are for sale and like redecorating things in my mind. I love decorating houses. So yeah, that's another thing that I kind of do for fun. I buy too many candles and throw pillows. Not as much anymore. Now any extra that I spend that I shouldn't is usually on stuff like camera equipment and stuff for YouTube and things like that, stuff for the business. But I also really like, I don't know if this is weird, but I love like organizing and cleaning and kind of the whole minimalist vibe. I wouldn't call myself a minimalist yet, but definitely headed in that direction. I'm definitely not a hoarder. I am a thrower, outer, get stuff cleaned. I love planning and being organized. So, and I'm a history nerd too. I've said that a bunch of times, I think, in some of my other videos, but anything history related, but I am a super nerd when it comes to Tudor history, British history. So anything that has to do with like Henry VIII and his wives and Elizabeth I and things like that. I love that time period, so I know way more than any normal human should know about that stuff. Okay. Oh, the next are a couple just quick ones. So favorite color. I honestly don't really have one. This question always trips me up because I'm not sure, but I would say any sort of fall color. So I love like the deep reds and burgundies, and I also really like the yellows and the oranges. So any sort of fall color. And then that kind of leads to the next question, because someone asked what my favorite season was. My favorite season is definitely like weather-wise and activity-wise, fall. I love fall. I live in Pennsylvania, so we have all 4 seasons, and the fall is just so beautiful, and I love the weather, and I love all the stuff there is to do. I love the whole like fireplace pumpkin spice, let's bake some cookies and hunker down under a blanket. Like, I love that vibe. Love it. However, I am a teacher, and therefore, even though I love everything about fall, summer is still my favorite because I don't have to work over the summer, and that's like it's like the time of the year that I'm not super stressed because of my job. So yeah. Okay, so the next one, how am I doing knowing the place that my mom is in? So if you don't know, my mom has pancreatic cancer. She was diagnosed almost a year ago, and they didn't expect her to live the whole year, honestly. So she's doing well. And as far as how I'm handling it, So I'm being honest with these questions. I'm just going to be completely honest here, even if it sounds terrible. Like, it's kind of the same thing as with my dad and stepmom who died before Libby. It's like Libby's death was so terrible. Like, it was so life-shattering that nothing else seems to matter to me right now. And obviously it matters to me that my mom has cancer and, you know, probably won't be living too much longer. I hate saying that out loud, but it still is like, it's not fully registering, I think, because Libby's death was so massive. It's kind of like the worst has happened, so everything else is just kind of like, you know. It's hard because of having to take care of her and having to, like, go to the hospital appointments and doctor's appointments and all that kind of stuff. That, you know, that's pretty stressful, but, you know, she's my mom, so what are you gonna do? But yeah, I'm doing as well as I think anyone could do with all the shit that's happened to me. I just sort of keep going and going and going. Let's see. Let's do a couple more. I'm still not feeling super great. So somebody asked, which was really, really nice. So is there anything that we can do to help be supportive of you and your family? Like, the nicest thing ever. So I would say for me personally, the best way you could help me is just watching this channel, watching my videos, subscribing, liking, sharing. If you know, want to give in any sort of other way, I do have channel subscriptions. I can leave a link down in the description where you can pay $5 a month and be a channel subscriber, and you'll get like a shout out in my videos. You could also, I have Buy Me a Coffee where you can, you know, donate $5 for me to get a cup of coffee, which honestly probably won't go to a cup of coffee. I love coffee, but it probably won't go to coffee. It'll go towards like all of the expenses that I have for doing this stuff. You know, running my website and all that kind of thing, all the equipment. So that's probably what it'll go to, but it will be really, really helpful. And then also the affiliate links that I have down there, just anything that you get from the affiliate links gives me a small commission. So I make like no money from doing any of this. I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, so I'm not monetized. So everything that I'm doing, I love doing it, so I do it anyway, but I am hoping to turn this into a full-time thing when I'm finished teaching. So that's my goal. And I am, you know, I'm working on the book, and I've taken a bunch of courses already, but I'm almost done with my grief certification, grief coach certification. So I'm going to be starting one-on-one coaching and group coaching, and I'm hoping, my hope is to make a living doing this. So I figure I have more experience than most, unfortunately, so I might as well do something with it that helps other people in Libby's honor. So that is how you could help me personally. As far as my family, honestly, the best thing you could do for us is we have a charity organization that we created in Libby's honor. It's called livelike-libby.org. So if you go to livelike-libby.org, you could donate any amount, and that charity helps dancers who are in financial need to pay for classes that they want to take in competitions and costumes and things like that. So we are carrying on Libby's dance legacy. So yeah, you could donate to that, but please don't feel like you have to do either of those. But you asked, so I'm answering. Okay, let's see, 3 more. So Libbys Room. A couple people asked me if I've gone in there yet. I haven't. You know what? I figure it's in my own time. I'm gonna know when it's ready, and I'm getting kind of an inkling, like a little hunch, kind of like a tug that maybe over Christmas vacation is the time to do it. So battery died, so sorry if the lighting looks a little different. It's a little bit later because I had to charge it. Finishing up the last couple of questions here. So I'm feeling like I might tackle Libbys Room over the holiday break, but we'll see. We'll just kind of see how I feel about it. I'm not really stressing out about it. I figure when I'm ready, I'm ready. So let's see. Have you always wanted to be a teacher? It's a good one. Not always. Probably through high school I did. I've mostly always wanted to be a writer, but it's really hard to make a living as a writer. So my senior year, I had a really awesome English teacher that I absolutely adored, and she told me that I would make a great teacher. So that was kind of how I got that idea in my head, and that was that. Let's see. And the last one is kind of a big one, but can you tell us how you've changed since Libby died? Completely. No. Honestly, my life is kind of divided into 2 points now. So there's like before Libby died and after Libby died. And it's a different person on either side. I mean, that kind of loss just totally changes something inside you as a person. So I'm never going to be the same person that I was before. I have to like readjust my life and readjust my expectations for the future and everything. So yeah, I can't go back. I'm always going to have this empty spot. I'm always going to feel like something's missing. Do I feel like the rest of my life is ruined? No, I mean, I'm working really hard. It's a daily struggle, and this is how it is for people who are in deep grief. You have to kind of come to terms with the fact that life isn't going to be what you want, and you have to just try to make the best of it that you can. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. So yeah, as far as specifics, how it's changed me personally, again, it's going to be different for every person, but for me personally, I've become a lot less of a people pleaser. I was a huge people pleaser, always said yes when I wanted to say no, and yeah, once Libby died, I was just like, oh, you know what? Life is too short. So I am focusing more on trying to take care of my own mental health and plan for a future that I'm gonna enjoy, that I want to do things that I haven't gotten the chance to do. And I look at that as kind of a gift that she's given me. And I say to people all the time, like, the worst thing has possibly happened to me, so I'm not really afraid of anything anymore. Like, I don't want to say I don't care about anything anymore, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like I'm just like, you know, nothing else could possibly be that bad, so I'm not really worried about anything really at this point, because nothing's going to be as bad as losing my daughter. So it's just kind of it's just a different mindset. In a way, it's kind of freeing, because I always used to care so much about what people thought, and I wanted to make everyone happy at my own expense. And now it's just like, screw that. I don't have time for that. So yeah. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Alright, so I'm going to stop there with the questions. If you have any other ones that you would like to ask me, just drop them below in the comments, and I'm happy to do these whenever you like. You know, I'm an open book, so if you have any questions, just throw them down there and I will do my best to answer them. If you like this Q&A kind of thing, let me know. Yeah, they're pretty easy to make. I can do it even when I'm sick. Just hit the record button and we're good. So alright, that is all for today. If you are interested in donating to Live Like Libby, remember it's livelikeLibby.org. If you are interested in supporting me, you can look down in the descriptions for different ways to do that. And I really, really appreciate all of the love and support that I get from you guys. So thank you very, very much. All right, I am going to take a nap. So I will catch you guys later. Sending love and hugs like always. Bye.